Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that constantly pushes us towards an unrealistic standard of perfection. Social media showcases flawless images, advertisements promote idealized beauty, and society often measures success by unattainable benchmarks. In this pursuit of perfection, we sometimes forget one simple truth: our imperfections are what make us human. We all are perfectly imperfect, and in embracing our flaws, we discover our true selves, our inner strength, and our unique beauty. Each of us carries traits, habits, and quirks that set us apart from others. Some of these may be seen as weaknesses, but in reality, they are the marks of our individuality. Imagine a world where everyone looked the same, thought the same, and acted in perfect harmony. Such a world would be devoid of character, creativity, and progress. It is through our differences, our so-called imperfections, that innovation and diversity thrive. Instead of hiding these traits, we should celebrate them. Imperfections are not signs of failure. They are proof that we are real, growing, and evolving beings. Society has conditioned us to believe that we must be flawless to be accepted. The pressure to conform to societal standards often leads to self-doubt and insecurity. However, the truth is that no one is truly perfect. Every individual has strengths and weaknesses, moments of confidence and vulnerability, and times of success and failure. By acknowledging this, we realize that imperfection is not something to be ashamed of, but rather something to embrace. The most admirable individuals are not those who appear perfect, but those who are authentic and self-accepting. Mistakes and flaws are essential aspects of personal growth. Life is a journey filled with learning experiences, and it is through our failures that we gain wisdom and resilience. Every mistake teaches us a lesson and pushes us closer to self-improvement. The greatest inventors, artists, and leaders in history did not achieve greatness by being perfect. They did so by learning from their imperfections and persevering through their shortcomings. Thomas Edison, for instance, failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. His imperfections and setbacks did not define him. His determination and ability to embrace failure did. Moreover, embracing our flaws allows us to form deeper connections with others. Vulnerability fosters genuine relationships. When we accept our imperfections, we give others the space to do the same. We build stronger bonds through shared experiences of struggle, perseverance, and acceptance. It is our imperfections that make us relatable and real. When we stop pretending to be flawless, we create an environment where authenticity is valued and people feel safe to express their true selves. Another crucial aspect of embracing imperfection is self-love. Too often we are our own harshest critics. We focus on our weaknesses, compare ourselves to others, and strive for an impossible ideal. But self-love means accepting ourselves as we are, with all our strengths and shortcomings. It means recognizing that we are enough just as we are. When we shift our perspective and see ourselves with kindness and compassion, we cultivate inner peace and confidence. Self-love does not mean complacency. It means acknowledging where we are while striving to grow without self-judgment. Imperfection also plays a vital role in creativity and innovation. Many of the greatest works of art, literature, and music were born out of imperfection and struggle. Artists, musicians, and writers often turn their flaws, emotions, and life experiences into masterpieces. Creativity flourishes when we allow ourselves to be imperfect, to make mistakes, and to think outside conventional boundaries. If everyone adhered to the same rigid standards, the world would lack originality and beauty. The idea of being perfectly imperfect extends beyond individuals and into relationships, families, and communities. No relationship is without flaws, and no family is without challenges. The key to strong connections lies in acceptance and understanding. Instead of seeking perfection in others, we should appreciate their unique qualities, just as we hope to be accepted for who we are. Real love and friendship are not based on flawlessness, but on mutual respect, support, and authenticity. Life itself is an imperfect journey. There will always be obstacles, uncertainties, and moments of doubt. However, these imperfections make life meaningful. The unexpected turns, the mistakes, and the lessons learned shape our experiences and contribute to our personal growth. If everything were perfect, there would be no room for discovery, adventure, or change. So let us redefine the idea of perfection. Let us celebrate our individuality, our quirks, and our so-called flaws. Let us embrace the beauty of being human with all its complexities and contradictions. We are not meant to be perfect. We are meant to be real. By accepting our imperfections, we free ourselves from the unrealistic expectations that weigh us down and allow ourselves to live with confidence, authenticity, and joy. In conclusion, being perfectly imperfect is not a flaw, it is a gift. It is a reminder that we are alive, evolving, and unique. It is an invitation to love ourselves and others wholeheartedly without the burden of unrealistic expectations. So let us stand together, embrace our flaws, and celebrate the beauty of imperfection. After all, it is our imperfections that make us truly perfect in our own way. Thank you. Imperfection is often seen as something to be fixed, hidden, or overcome, yet it is the very thing that allows growth to happen. It is in our flaws, mistakes, and failures that we find the space to learn, evolve, and ultimately become better versions of ourselves. Growth does not come from a place of perfection, but from a willingness to embrace imperfection and use it as a tool for self-improvement. People who strive for perfection often find themselves trapped in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not being enough. This fear holds them back from taking risks, trying new things, and stepping outside their comfort zones. Growth, however, requires risk. It demands that individuals put themselves in situations where they might fail or make mistakes. When perfection is the goal, failure feels like the end. But when growth is the goal, failure becomes a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey towards self-discovery and improvement. Mistakes and imperfections provide valuable lessons. A person who has never failed has never had the opportunity to reflect, adjust, and try again with newfound wisdom. Growth happens in the moments of discomfort, in the realization that one's efforts were not perfect, but they were meaningful. Each mistake teaches resilience, adaptability, and problem-solving skills that cannot be developed in a world where perfection is expected. When individuals accept their imperfections, they create an environment where learning is prioritized over looking flawless. Creativity thrives in imperfection. The most innovative ideas and breakthroughs often come from mistakes or unintended outcomes. Many artists, writers, and musicians have discovered their unique styles through trial and error, not by executing a flawless vision on the first attempt. Scientific discoveries, too, have been shaped by accidents that led to new insights and understandings. Imperfection fosters experimentation, and through that experimentation, progress is made. If perfection were required before action, creativity would be stifled, and the world would lack innovation. Relationships also benefit from an embrace of imperfection. Human connections are built on authenticity, and authenticity requires vulnerability. When people pretend to be perfect, they create walls that prevent genuine connections from forming. True relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, flourish when individuals feel safe to be their imperfect selves. Admitting flaws, apologizing for mistakes, and showing up as a work in progress fosters trust and deeper understanding. Growth in relationships happens not despite imperfections, but because of them. Personal growth is deeply connected to self-acceptance. When people reject their imperfections, they engage in self-criticism and negative self-talk, which limits their potential. On the other hand, when they acknowledge their flaws with compassion, they open the door to self-improvement. Accepting imperfection does not mean settling for mediocrity. Rather, it means recognizing that growth is an ongoing process. A person who embraces their imperfections understands that they will never be perfect, but they can always strive to be better. Growth through imperfection also involves resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks. No one's journey is without obstacles, and no success story is free from failure. The people who achieve great things are often those who are willing to fail repeatedly and learn from each experience. They did not let their imperfections define them. Instead, they used them as fuel to keep moving forward. Every challenge overcome, every mistake corrected, and every failure turned into a lesson is a testament to the power of growth through imperfection. Social expectations often create unrealistic standards of perfection, making it difficult for individuals to accept their flaws. The pressure to appear perfect on social media, in careers, and in personal lives can lead to feelings of inadequacy. However, breaking free from these unrealistic expectations allows for real growth. When people stop comparing themselves to an unattainable standard, they can focus on their unique journey and progress at their own pace. The pursuit of perfection is exhausting and unattainable, but the pursuit of growth is fulfilling and achievable. The concept of imperfection is not just personal, it extends to larger systems and societies. Progress in the world has always come from recognizing flaws in existing structures and working to improve them. Civil rights movements, scientific advancements, and cultural evolutions have all been driven by the realization that things were not perfect and needed to change. Just as individuals grow through acknowledging their imperfections, societies grow by addressing their shortcomings and striving for a better future. Even nature embodies growth through imperfection. Trees grow stronger after withstanding storms, rivers carve new paths through obstacles, and ecosystems adapt to changing environments. Nature does not strive for perfection. It evolves, adjusts, and thrives despite challenges. Humans, too, are meant to evolve and adapt rather than conform to an unattainable ideal. The natural world is a reminder that imperfection is not a flaw, but a necessary part of existence. One of the most powerful aspects of embracing imperfection is the freedom it brings. When individuals stop striving for an unrealistic version of themselves and instead focus on progress, they experience a sense of relief. They no longer live under the weight of perfectionism, but instead move forward with curiosity and openness. This mindset allows for joy in the process rather than frustration at perceived shortcomings. Growth through imperfection is not about glorifying mistakes or ignoring the need for improvement. It is about recognizing that the path to success, happiness, and fulfillment is paved with lessons learned from imperfection. The willingness to be imperfect is what makes growth possible. Those who embrace their flaws, learn from their experiences, and continue striving for improvement are the ones who truly evolve. The journey toward growth is not about reaching a state of perfection, but about continuously learning, adapting, and becoming better versions of ourselves every day. In a world where social media, advertising, and societal expectations constantly project an image of perfection, the value of authenticity has never been more important. We are inundated with airbrushed photos, curated feeds, and success stories that rarely showcase the struggles and imperfections behind them. This illusion of flawlessness can create unrealistic standards, leaving people feeling inadequate and pressured to conform to an unattainable ideal. However, authenticity, the act of being genuine, honest, and true to oneself, holds far greater power than the mere appearance of perfection. Authenticity fosters deeper connections, promotes self-acceptance, and ultimately leads to a more fulfilling life. Perfection, on the other hand, is often a mirage, something that appears real but is in reality an illusion crafted by careful editing and presentation. When people prioritize authenticity over perfection, they embrace their unique qualities, imperfections, and vulnerabilities, which allows them to cultivate more meaningful relationships and lead a life aligned with their values and beliefs. One of the most significant reasons why authenticity is more valuable than perfection is that it fosters genuine relationships. When people present themselves as perfect, they create a barrier between themselves and others. Perfection can be intimidating, making it difficult for others to relate. In contrast, when people are open about their struggles, flaws, and insecurities, they become more approachable and trustworthy. Authenticity breeds connection because it shows vulnerability, and vulnerability is a universal human experience. Everyone has flaws and insecurities, and by embracing them openly, People create an environment where others feel safe to do the same. In personal relationships, authenticity allows for deeper emotional intimacy. When people are true to themselves, they attract others who appreciate them for who they genuinely are rather than for a fabricated image they attempt to maintain. This fosters trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Relationships built on authenticity are far more sustainable than those based on a facade of perfection, because eventually, the illusion of flawlessness cracks under the pressure of reality. Being honest about one's true self prevents disappointment and misunderstandings, leading to healthier and more fulfilling connections with others. Beyond relationships, authenticity also plays a crucial role in personal growth and self-acceptance. Striving for perfection often leads to self-criticism, anxiety, and an overwhelming fear of failure. It creates an exhausting cycle where individuals constantly chase an impossible standard. On the other hand, authenticity allows people to accept themselves as they are, with all their strengths and weaknesses. It encourages self-compassion and the understanding that growth comes from embracing imperfections rather than denying them. When people accept their flaws, they become more resilient in the face of challenges. They understand that failure is a natural part of life and a stepping stone to success rather than something to be ashamed of. Many of the most successful individuals in history, from great artists to influential leaders, have openly embraced their failures and imperfections. They did not allow the pursuit of perfection to hinder their progress, but instead used their authenticity to inspire others and create meaningful impact. Furthermore, authenticity enhances mental and emotional well-being. Living a life in pursuit of perfection often leads to stress, burnout, and feelings of inadequacy. The pressure to appear flawless in every aspect, whether in career, relationships, or personal achievements, can take a toll on mental health. However, when individuals allow themselves to be authentic, they release the burden of trying to meet unrealistic expectations. They find peace in knowing that they are enough just as they are, without needing to constantly prove their worth. In professional settings, authenticity is equally powerful. Leaders who exhibit authenticity are often more respected and admired than those who strive to appear perfect. Employees and colleagues appreciate leaders who acknowledge their mistakes, show vulnerability, and lead with honesty. Authentic leadership fosters a workplace culture built on trust and collaboration, where people feel valued and understood. When individuals bring their authentic selves to work, they contribute unique perspectives and ideas, leading to more creativity and innovation. A workplace that prioritizes authenticity over perfection is one that nurtures growth, teamwork, and genuine success. In the age of social media, where people are constantly bombarded with curated highlights of others' lives, it is easy to fall into the trap of comparison. Many individuals feel the need to present only the best versions of themselves, filtering out any flaws or difficulties they encounter. While it is natural to want to showcase achievements and happy moments, this selective presentation often creates unrealistic standards that can be damaging to both the individual posting and those consuming the content. Embracing authenticity means being willing to share the real, unfiltered aspects of life, the struggles, the failures, and the imperfect moments. Doing so not only relieves the pressure to appear perfect, but also helps others feel less alone in their own challenges. The concept of authenticity over perfection is also relevant in creative pursuits. Artists, writers, musicians, and performers who stay true to their authentic selves often create work that resonates deeply with others. Art that is raw, honest, and imperfect tends to be more impactful than art that is polished to the point of losing its soul. The beauty of creativity lies in its uniqueness, and when individuals embrace their imperfections, they produce work that is original, relatable, and deeply meaningful. In conclusion, authenticity is far more valuable than the illusion of perfection. While perfection may seem desirable, it is ultimately an unattainable and exhausting goal that hinders genuine connections, personal growth, and overall well-being. Authenticity, on the other hand, fosters deeper relationships, encourages self-acceptance, enhances mental and emotional health, and leads to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. By embracing imperfections and staying true to themselves, individuals create an environment where authenticity is celebrated and valued. In a world obsessed with perfection, choosing to be authentic is a revolutionary act, one that leads to genuine happiness, stronger connections, and a life lived with integrity and purpose.